The skill match method has the potential to revolutionize your classroom. It certainly transformed mine. However, transitioning to this approach can come with its challenges. Let's explore 3 common pitfalls and, more importantly, how to navigate them effectively. Are you concerned that students won't engage in their work? This is a frequent worry when shifting to a self-directed learning model, and it represents the first pitfall. If you fall back into old habits of microcontrolling, students will never take responsibility for their learning, and nothing will change. The first crucial step towards success is establishing a learning environment where students clearly understand their tasks. It's essential to practice this process with your students. By the time they reach high school, they're often not accustomed to influencing their own learning. They need positive experiences to realize they can take on this responsibility. And responsibility can only be embraced when it has been genuinely handed over. In my own practice, I shifted to the role of a facilitator. Instead of acting as the primary source of input, I ask questions like, "Where are you at your work?" Or, "Do you need any assistance?" If I see a student off task or disengage, I approach them with curiosity. "I see you working on something different right now. Can I help you with anything?" This approach avoids this controlling tone we're often tempted to use. We're all quite quick to judge. "You're not doing what you're supposed to do. I caught you." So instead, opening the door for conversation can reveal a student's struggles, like, "I know I should work, but I don't know where to begin." Or, "I have such a headache, but I'll get to it later, I promise." So, if you found strategies for overcoming this inner judging voice, share them in the comments. Are you worried that group speed may vary too much and everything will drift apart? This is a valid concern that often prevents teachers from trying the skill match method altogether. But from my experience, the differences in speeds aren't as significant as expected, as long as there's clear guidance. For instance, in my OneNote learning environment, I make sure the content for each week or lesson is visible to all students. So if I see one group lagging behind, I'll approach them with something like, "You are 3 tasks behind the other groups. Next time we'll start with a review quiz. How can we catch up by then?" I remember one group with a girl as a leader who said, "Okay team, let's come up with a strategy." And suddenly the ideas flowed and the group became highly productive. It was so exciting to see. So don't miss out on this moment just because you're afraid of losing control. Are you concerned that some students won't collaborate with their group? If you let students organize their own groups, there's a high chance friends will group up together. This is often unproductive. That's why I recommend grouping students based on their strength, as I explained in the first video, or simply using random grouping. I actually started doing that to shake up group dynamics, and it allowed students to show different sides of themselves and focus on more productivity. And yes, there will always be students who prefer to work independently and finish early. As teachers, we often tempted to think, the work is never finished, they could just do more tasks. But this approach punishes the ones who work quickly. Why would they strive for efficiency if it just means more work? Here's what I did instead. First, I closely reviewed their work and asked them why they made certain choices. This allowed me to give more detailed feedback, something there's often no time for. We get so focused on helping struggling students that the stronger ones miss out. And that's a shame, because I've had some great discussions with those students and that sparkled their curiosity even more. Second, I asked if they had work in another subject where they weren't as fast, or if they'd like to help me explain something to another group. They felt proud to know I relied on them, and I highly recommend this third approach. Bonus! There is actually a fourth pitfall. It's essential that the roles in each group are authentic and meaningful. Assigning pseudo-roles just to manipulate students into working can lead to frustration and disengagement. If you're going to have a presenter role, make sure your lesson plan genuinely requires that role. This might include sections where a presenter explains concepts to the class, or leads discussions, or presents findings. The worst case is when students realize the roles are just for show. This creates a sense of betrayal. They feel tricked into participating rather than contributing meaningfully. Take these roles seriously, and your students will too. Authentic responsibilities lead to authentic engagement. If you want to know how to create motivating environment in OneNote that keeps students in the flow, check out the other video. And if you're new to the skill match method, click here to learn how to group students